here we are once again. It seems like it's been quite a year of tragic circumstances, dare I say. But this is a new year to do different things and grow in many ways. So, what can I say in this video for the first time really doing it this way in quite a long while? I guess the most important thing to say is looking back on everything that I've seen in the world of professional wrestling, I have somewhat veered back into looking at the past. Because the past 12 months of professional wrestling in regards to WWE has been kind of one-sided. I mean, it may be a controversial subject, but when you really look at the fact that the only real predominant minority champion there was this whole year was the New Day. They were tag team champions that cheated, but also lost whenever it came to big time matches. They won what they needed to win, but they actually lost at WrestleMania. That's very crucial to their status quo of who they are. I mean, it was a big elaborate event with them dressing up as, I believe, the Gundam Force from Dragon Ball Z. I should know that because I have a couple seasons of Dragon Ball Z, and that's one of the seasons that I actually did see. But besides all of that, nobody. I mean, I guess you can kind of call anytime Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins had the belts, it was minority based, but the minorities that I'm talking about in general, from the general perspective, not to step on toes, it's from the African American perspective, where there have been very few over the years really rich main event talent that stayed in the main event that were world champions. Look at WCW. The first ever African American world heavyweight champion was Ron Simmons. Ron Simmons is a very strong black man, but if you look on the WWE network and you look at what he did during his reign, honestly, he didn't do much at all. The biggest win was against Vader, and I'm pretty sure that he lost against Vader to lose the belt. And then they didn't really know what to do with him from that point on. Like in the Attitude Era of professional wrestling, we had The Rock, the minority world heavyweight champion, the guy that people were behind. But if you really pay attention to when The Rock was really on his rise, it was more of a focus on Stone Cold Steve Austin than it was on The Rock. I don't think it was a race thing. I mean, Stone Cold did pretty good promos. The 316 promos was pretty awesome. His body of work in regards to the IC title scene and the World Heavyweight title scene was pretty good. But in regards to mainstream appeal, The Rock always took a back seat to Stone Cold, no matter how good his promos were. Is that based on the fact that he wasn't all that great of a professional wrestler? Maybe. I mean, I honestly, I think it was pretty horrific to have John Cena versus The Rock main event WrestleManias back to back. The first match was pretty decent. I could give him that. And the finish was, I guess, made to make John Cena underestimate The Rock. But in that second match, finisher after finisher after kick out after finisher after kick out, that got kind of annoying. Either way, you know, The Rock, Ron Simmons were a part of the same faction at one point when Ron Simmons was Farouk. But Farouk had to play second fiddle to The Rock, even before The Rock became the leader of the Nation of Domination. Like I said, I just look back at different eras, and I can't really pinpoint anybody that epitomizes a real strong world champion, or could have been a real strong world champion, except for one person. The person I would like to pinpoint is a guy that did become world heavyweight champion multiple times. He never became the WWE world heavyweight champion or the WWE champion, but he was the world heavyweight champion, and that is Booker T. His athleticism, his promo skills, how he carried himself was of a championship caliber. He may have not had his big WrestleMania moment, but he had his moments. The best of 5 series with Chris Benoit over the WCW television title. The best of 5 series with John Cena over the WWE US Championship. When he won the King of the Ring, that was pretty prestigious because I'm pretty sure he was the first African American to win the King of the Ring. Even though he was a bad guy, he still epitomized what that King of the Ring was all about. He did what he had to do to win. That's what bad guys do. You gotta respect that. So he is the guy that I really gravitated towards over the years, and his body of work really is Hall of Fame caliber compared to all the other guys. I mean, The Rock, he did stuff world class, like in regards to his promo skills, but the in-ring skills were more displayed with Booker T than what he did as opposed to The Rock. That may ruffle a little feathers, but that's what it is. Now, this day and age, when you look at how storylines are run and how Vince McMahon structures who he pushes and who he doesn't push, it's not from the perspective of trying to make a guy champion because of his race, but it's more so geared towards making somebody a champion based on who they're related to at times. This has happened multiple times. You have your second generation wrestlers, third generation wrestlers. Apparently there's a fourth generation wrestler in Japan Pro Wrestling by the name of Dave Finlay. But in regards to how things are structured, most times you don't have minorities be champions for too long. Like right now, honestly, pound for pound, there are probably a collection of guys that are minorities that are at the point where they could be really big superstars in WWE. There's probably one that probably will never come to WWE that really should go to WWE just to see how far he can take it. I know he can at least be IC champion or US champion, maybe tag team champion. May not be world championship level because they don't like his stature, yes. But Jay Lethal is a guy that could go to the next level of guys that's on the independent circuit and really do something in regards to being at least an upper mid-carder or a recognizable name, a talent that can do many things. Now, in regards to actively in WWE, let's take a deep look at the structure of African Americans inside of WWE and how they are structured the way that they are. Off the top of my head, R-Truth. R-Truth came from NWA Wildside, from what I remember. Him and AJ Styles came up together. R-Truth may be slightly older than AJ Styles, maybe greatly older. They did say he was celebrating his 50th birthday at least a year or two ago. I don't know how active that is, but they did. Either way, this man has been fit, in shape, in character, displayed the fact that he can actually wrestle at a level that is somewhat near Booker T-ish, but not exactly. He may overindulge in his moveset sometimes, but he is consistent on what he does. And I'm not saying that he can draw a lot of money, like how WWE wants him to draw money, but in regards to being a mid-carder, he could do far more than what he has done. I think he's a one-time U.S. champion, multiple-time tag team champion in WWE. When he was in TNA, he played the race card in order for him to actually get the world championship. I'm not saying he did it himself, probably structured storyline-wise, and how they were trying to get people to look at TNA's product at the time. But they played that up so that he can get a shot at the world championship. He became a two-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Well, technically, it's not the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at that time. It was the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. So he had that twice, and it was a pretty okay reign. I mean, he lost it very easily on both reigns, but he did it. That's something that they can't take away from him in TNA. WWE, he's more so of a comedy act with Goldust, which I guess if you make the right money, it really doesn't matter. Now, in regards to other minorities in the company, you have Rich Swann. Right. Rich Swann is a guy that can virtually do everything that you put in front of him to do. He may not have your look of a prestigious champion, but he is entertaining in the fact that he can actually give a promo, he can sing, he can dance, he can do anything physically that he wants to do in the ring. And he's of a small stature. He has charisma that is on the next level of what charisma is supposed to be. It's something that is very unexpected that a guy is that talented. And that's right now. Like I've seen him in Dragon Gate USA. And I saw him in Dragon Gate itself when he was beatboxing his theme song to the ring. I really think in regards to his top potential, what he could do is keep that partnership with No Way Jose. Because I think it would help both of their careers. It would help him in regard to not just being looked at as a cruiserweight, and it would help Jose in regard of not just being looked at as a comical act of sorts. Because in NXT, the way that they have them together really is an entertaining combination that could help both of their careers go in different directions or in the same direction. They could be tag team champions at some point on either Raw or SmackDown ring. Now, the New Day. The New Day has a pretty weird dynamic of being good guys that do bad things to win matches. If it seems like they're going to lose, they will cheat to win. That has cost them the tag team titles, and it has cost them the rematch for the tag team titles. But for as long as that reign was, the longest WWE tag team title reign ever, it worked. Now, in regards to individualistically, Kofi's been secondary champion, IC and US champion many times, tag team champions with different guys. He has really shown that he can do way more than anybody expected, and not just something that happens at the Royal Rumble. Being a guy at the Royal Rumble that always finds ways to escape situations, he's more than that now. Big E was coming across to me at one point as the next coming of Mark Henry. Mark Henry Jr. But he's proven himself to be a very charismatic guy that can either be serious or jokey at the drop of a dime. That's a very good quality in a company that has based itself on being sports entertainment. Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods is a certified genius of sorts. I mean, there's many things that he can do that he has not even touched upon. I've seen him in TNA when he threw up, and he bounced back from that to be who he is now. People don't even think about that when it comes to him now. They think about him being the mouthpiece of the New Day. And that's pretty cool. He's of a short stature, but he can at least be IC or US champion. Heck, if he drops weight, maybe cruiserweight champion. You never know. But all three of those guys have potential. Now, if we're just talking about guys that seemingly had potential together, but when they broke up, it was disastrous. We have to talk about the one and only Darren Young, Titus O'Neil. His words cannot describe how breaking up a tag team can mess up their careers. Bob Backlund is a very entertaining man. Having Bob Backlund as your manager puts focus on Bob Backlund. Titus O'Neil, very smart man. Having his character look dumb and doing what he does, or parlaying his lack of push as a character or his lack of appeal from an audience as his character doesn't seem like a structured way to make a guy relatable to the audience. Just saying, together, the primetime players, they were a very good tag team. Apart, they're just guys on the roster that has no real focus. There may be a small notice saying that Darren Young had a chance to do something brand new, but it was all for naught because of the way that Bob Backlund's charisma and appeal overshadowed any accomplishments that he was trying to accomplish. Now, let me address a situation that people have misconstrued, and this guy is a minority. He may not be African American, but he's a minority. He gets a lot of hate. And there's no other way to put it but to really pinpoint Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is a guy that I believe was really loved, really accepted at one point. But the impact of how popular Daniel Bryan is, how charismatic Dean Ambrose is, how much of a full package Seth Rollins is, it's causing people to regret that Roman Reigns is a star. Because the audience feel that he has taken the mantle above people that seemingly are more talented than him. I will say this. I'm not saying that he's the greatest talker, because scripted promos are scripted promos for some people. Everybody cannot be a talented actor. Everybody cannot be a very improvisational speaker or think on the fly, especially when it's structured to the point that you're a good guy trying to make a bad guy seem like he's stopping you from doing something. Roman Reigns may not be John Cena. He may not be Batista. He may not be any big time superstar. But he's Roman Reigns. I've seen this man improve from being somewhat of just a big power wrestler to a guy that is always trying to learn and thrive in any environment he's in. They pay him the money they pay him because his look, his appeal, and the fact that in regards to the majority of the opponents that he wrestles, he looks like he should beat all of their asses. And that is not a shot against anybody. But when you compare his body type, his mannerisms, and how he carries himself compared to everybody else, he should be plowing through competition. Seemingly like Goldberg, to be completely honest. I'm not saying that he's supposed to have short matches or long matches, but something in between so that people get him from what he's doing and get across what he's about and what he's trying to accomplish, as opposed to making him a 2.0 version of the top guy or top face from the 80s or 90s, even the 2000s. If he is supposed to be looked upon as the top guy, he needs to figure out how in the world can I get my edge on who I am as a person onto the character that I'm portraying. He needs to look at who he is and what he's given like a character actor would towards a very critical role. Because the role of Roman Reigns that's played by the guy that's doing Roman Reigns is not going to flex in what he does if they want him to be the face of the company. He's supposed to smile. He's supposed to get mad when he's supposed to get mad. He's supposed to react the way he reacts to any situation based on the fact that he cannot cross certain levels because that's the only thing that stops him from being looked upon like everybody else. If he cheats, he looks bad. If he wins too much, he looks bad. If he doesn't have any real rivalry with somebody, it looks bad. Like this current thing going on between him and Kevin Owens over the WWE Universal Championship really doesn't make much sense because everybody's focus is on what is Chris Jericho going to do in this situation, or how is Chris Jericho going to end up going against Kevin Owens in the future. Is that a way to be? Not really, but Chris Jericho is a very entertaining man. Kevin Owens is maybe a step below, but he's a very entertaining man. Roman Reigns, if there is one advice I could give you directly, it would be shut up, beat people up, and leave. If you would do these 3 things, I guarantee you, people will love you for it. If you have something to say a one-liner, get it across, done. Hit that person, take that person out, done. Do what you gotta do. You still get paid the money. And that's not really directed to Roman Reigns himself. That's more so directed to the people that write WWE. I mean, how do you feel that it's creative where year after year, people don't want him to win the Royal Rumble? People don't want him to win at WrestleMania? They don't want him to win no major title? The only time they actually cheered him is either when he's with the Shield or the fact that he defends the U.S. title. He doesn't defend the U.S. title much. He doesn't get the Shield much, so majority of the time, people are booing him for the fact that they don't want him in that position. I'm pretty sure nobody wanted John Cena in the position that he was in. But John Cena figured out how to make that work for him. John Cena has reinvented himself to be who he is today. He is a multi-millionaire that goes outside the avenues of professional wrestling and still comes back to professional wrestling because he knows that's what made him famous. Does that make him somewhat like The Rock in that regard? Yes, it does. Do I see Roman Reigns expanding past WWE? If he's a good actor, maybe. I don't really know, nor do I care. It's not that I don't care as a person, I just do not care about what he does outside of professional wrestling. That's between him and his agent, him and WWE, him and his personal ambitions. But as long as he is in professional wrestling, he needs to learn more about how to respond and what not to say at certain times that could be very crucial to his career. Now, no matter what you think or what you think you know, Roman Reigns will be a Universal or World Champion no matter what he's in. It's going to happen. You might as well just get prepared for it. Either watch it or leave it. That's how professional wrestling is. I see one of my favorite wrestlers almost every week in WWE lose. You know who that is? Chris Jericho. Lose after lose after lose after lose. Does it hurt him? No. You know why? Because he can give a promo and spin it in his own direction. He's probably one of the only guys that is a main eventer over a long period of time that can actually manage to do such a thing. His caliber of matches speak for itself. He's one of the greatest of all time. That goat on the back of his trunks That's not a joke. That's legit. Like, actively, he is a living legend right now. So we better appreciate him as long as he wrestles. Because a guy of his stature, a guy of his quality of wrestling skill, something you very rarely ever get. There's a lot of guys on the roster that try to consistently have good matches the way that he does, and not many of them survive. Like, Kevin Owens is trying to get at that point. Seth Rollins trying to get at that point. Roman Reigns actually is trying to get to that point through different ways, but he's trying to do it. I know that people may not appreciate or understand how minorities are being booked in WWE or outside of WWE, but there's a role for everybody. I really wish that there was a extremely charismatic guy of a certain stature that is not a cruiserweight that could actually become world champion and really stay in the main event. Because just getting the title means nothing. You are the sum of whatever rivalry that you are in. That makes you who you are. You are a star because of that. Now, if your rivalry revolves around the John Cena model of, you may beat me many times, but I will beat you at one time if the feud is over, it's not going to mean much. Or, you beat me one time, and I beat you all the other times. That doesn't build a star. I feel that the face of the company that's supposed to take over after John Cena leaves hasn't happened yet. Will that person be a minority? Probably not. A minority hasn't really been a main focus in the main event picture in WWE ever. I mean, you had many major stars that were minorities and some minorities that became world champions, but a permanent fixture on the span of 5 to 10 years of being a main eventer in WWE hasn't happened yet. Will it happen? Yes, it will happen. With who? We don't know. That's just how it is. These are just my thoughts on the current state of wrestling, and in particular, WWE dealing with the minority bookings that have been happening over the years. Now, I probably will be doing more videos as the time goes, but this is just one of the subjects that I will touch on from time after time in regards to this YouTube channel. So, subscribe to youtube.com/DreMecca83. I have an Instagram that is Instagram.com/Andre Edward Levine, and I have a Twitter that is Twitter.com/Andre Levine. And I will try to make it every week to post a new video on professional wrestling, on creativity, art, or anything that is on my mind at least once or twice a week. Not this week, but on the weeks to come. I will try to make that my motto to do. So if you have any opinions or thoughts on what I have said, leave a comment. You can tweet me, you can message me any way you can, because I'm all over social media. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and that is it. Peace out.